Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the J2ICS Endurance Series, sponsored by Designers Home Gallery. We're at here at Misano, the World Circuit of Marco Simoncelli. And as always, I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p as we are rocking and rolling on this Wednesday night. Looks like a pretty healthy grid. I believe 18 drivers have made their way out onto a relatively new circuit here at iRacing. So going to be interested to see what the night has in store for us. As always, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor or device. And if they don't, they just about always go back and watch this thing over again. And let me tell you, they can definitely notice and appreciate the fans that are out there cheering them on each and every Wednesday night. Looks like qualifying has wrapped up for the day here. And we're going to get ready and put them out onto the track, and let's get this party started. Starting on pole, it's Dickinson in the top spot. Simply Steve starting second. Squilliam starting third. Joshua Spear starts fourth. Urko starting fifth. Nodovan starting sixth. Bozak starts seventh. Spook Dub starting eighth. Prince Adam starting 9th, Eat My Dust starting 10th, Miller Lite starting 11th, Sector starting 12th, cycle it on back to Cat Daddy starting 13th, Springflower starting 14th, Garlic Dog starting 15th, Broccoli Motorsports starts 16th, Yo Mega starting 17th, and Dutch will round out the 18-car grid here today. Looks like everybody except for Dutch is on the grid. Going to be interesting to see if that number 19 machine starts behind the wall or if he's going to sit out for this endurance event. Looks like Prince Adam also starting from pit road. So I wonder, I'm thinking that Adam might have a qualifying penalty or a no-grid penalty. We got Blazin' Colin here cheering on Garlic Dog. We got Matthew Ventura cheering on Sector. As we do a lap of pacing behind that iRacing safety car. And we did get a little bit of a report there that Prince Adam in the 777 did receive a penalty, was not supposed to qualify here tonight. So I wonder if he realized that at the last moment and opted to start from pit road rather than doubling up on the penalties. Now, for those astute fans, you'll know that we always have an event name here at J2ICS. Tonight's event name is Totally Not Driving Around a Giant Prostate Massager Grand Prix, with Cat Daddy as the event sponsor. Chase Meyer letting us know that he accidentally joined the race, registered for the race instead of hitting spectate. So he'll be adding to the scoreboard on the left side, even though he won't be able to help out his teammate with engineering duties here today. About a third of a lap left to go. And then we'll kick things off right and proper. So of the 18 entries, 16 are out on track. We know what happened to Dutch. We're fairly confident Prince Adam forgot about the qualifying ban and then opted to start from pit road. The Tube Surfer cheering on Urko. Yeah, if those who remember, Urko qualified well, and then accidentally started with his qualifying setup last endurance round. Prince Adam jumps to pit road, so I think that's going to be the move there, as Adam's going to start from behind the wall. And we are underway. Looks like Joshua Spears, or was it Squilliam? Maybe didn't have a particularly great launch. And speaking of launch, there goes Miller Lite off into the cheap seats, absolutely destroying that number 9. So very early on, some drivers having problems up front. Dickinson has pulled a quick and healthy gap as Simply Steve and Squilliam going side by side here. We had another incident reported. It's going to be Prince Adam. Might have been a solo incident. Miller Lite is going to take a tow back down pit road. So unfortunately, Miller, the number 9, not living the high life this evening, as Dickinson's got to be pumped up front, seeing already a 2-second, almost a 2-second gap on the board. Simply Steve sitting in second. He's pulled a little bit away from Squilliam. You've also got Nodovan, Spears, Urko, Bozak, all in the fray here. Now Dickinson, Simply Steve, Bozak, Nodovan, Spook Dubs, a handful of drivers we frequently saw towards the tippy top of the field during the practice sessions. But now you've got to wonder, did Dickinson leave a little bit in reserve during those practices, not showing his hand, I wonder? Sector and Bozak side by side for 10th. Sector, that's going to be his second spot gain. But Bozak not going to let him get away too easily here as they continue the side-by-side foray. That's Cat Daddy and Garlic Dog about a second back, watching the bright yellow of Sector, the bright blue of Bozak. Swapping a little bit of paint here in the Corvettes. Good to see Penny Dickinson join us here tonight. Now, it looks like things are starting to tighten up here for third. Nodovan closing in behind Squilliam. There's also Joshua Spears sitting in fifth, still very much in the mix. Dickinson up front pulled that gap to about 2.3 seconds in his favor. I see another battle. There we go. It's going to be Cat Daddy and Garlic Dog running nose to tail. You could just see that side-by-side foray. Sector and Bozak still continuing here. Sector gets clear, back up to the 10th place spot, but Bozak has proven not going to let him get away too easily. Oh, and who did I just see? That was Bozak. I think he was a little bit hard on the brakes. We saw a big cloud of smoke, and the 906 pushed off the circuit. And now it's Squilliam waiting for clean track to rejoin. Let's see what happened. Get the replay queued up here. Does he get some help, or is it a solo incident? Looks like it's going to be by himself. Just doesn't look like the rear end was quite planted as he tipped in. So Squilliam now going to fall all the way back to 8th. So Prince Adam started from pit road, had a solo incident early on. Hey, we got Adam Stewart join us, catching some iRacing action. But Prince Adam started from pit road, Involved in a lap 1 incident, trying to get some pace back up. He made his way around Yomega in the 101, our lone Ford out on track. Now he's tucked in behind Broccoli Motorsports, the number 66 Porsche. Adam has a good run here against Broccoli. Looks for an opening. Broccoli closes the door. That allows Yomega, again, that lone Ford, to close the gap a little bit. A big blink there from Broccoli in the 66. Gonna make Prince Adam in the 777 all the more white-knuckled here. Broccoli pushes a little bit wide. That allows Prince Adam to close up. And Adam's going to get clear there, taking back over the 14th spot position. Now the top three starting to spread out. Sean Dickinson up front, 2.8 seconds up over Simply Steve. Nodovan rounds out the top three, with Joshua Spears and Urko making up the top five. Bozak makes a move against Garlic Dog. Looks like that the 906 took advantage. Garlic in the 199 looked a little bit out of shape there. And that allowed Bozak to very quickly slide on through. Now, typically with these endurance events here at J2ICS, it can very frequently turn into a race of attrition. The field starts to get a little bit spread out, and then it's all about minimizing mistakes out on track. Now, we're not going to see drivers coming down pit road for the scheduled fuel stops. The fuel window is not going to open up to about the 30-minute mark, and it's going to close right about 1 hour into this feature event. And typically, we've seen drivers try and run these fuel tanks as dry as they can before they come down pit road. As the fuel load decreases in these GTE machines, the cars get a little bit faster and allows drivers to kind of outmatch, or outpace, I should say, the tire wear that they're going to be facing. Squilliam qualified third, sitting in seventh after that uncharacteristic self-spin. Has been picking his way through traffic ever so carefully. Just about everybody in the top five is in that mid 1 minute 33 second lap time range. Now, we had another incident, Broccoli Motorsports, with a crash and followed by an off track there in the number 66. Looks like it's going to be a self-imposed incident. As far as crashes go, though, not too bad for Broccoli. Just cooked it in too deep on the brakes. And we got two battles going on. Springflower and Sector battling for 9th. Bozak and Cat Daddy having a battle for 11th. Good to see Springflower out here at the J2ICS. I've watched Spring in that number 93 machine the cameras focused in on race a ton of open wheel cars. Super Formulas and Formula 3s is his background. So good to see him running with the GTE pros here at J2I. Flower and Sector side by side. Sector has a lot of straight line speed in the Corvette. Springflower trying to carry a little bit more momentum around the outside, but Sector able to slide on through. Looks like Eat My Dust sitting in 6th. He's got company with Squilliam and Spook Dubs in tow. Squilliam trying to carry a whole lot of corner speed there, ran out of track. In My Dust, he's up 4 spots. Doing a little bit of a check, so 2 drivers tied for a hard charger. Eat My Dust sitting in 6th and Springflower in 10th. Both up 4 positions. That's going to make them our current hard chargers of the evening. Also looks like Simply Steve sitting in 2nd. He's got some company from Nodovan. Heading up to the 128, sitting in 3rd, has closed the gap to within about a half second of Simply Steve in the Ferrari, sitting in 2nd. I can also see Joshua Spears looming in the background, the big green mean machine, the 84 Porsche. A very diverse top 3 as well. We've got a Porsche in 1st, Ferrari 2nd, and Corvette sitting in 3rd. Showing that all of these cars are quite capable with the right pilot. Squilliam trying to get another run here at Eat My Dust. Pulls up along the outside. Side by side we go for 7th. Eat My Dust making Squilliam go the long way around the circuit. Let's see, can Squilliam stick the nose in the next left-hander? Yes, he does. Once again, side by side. It's going to be a drag race. Squilliam once again has the preferred line. Trying to slide out in front of Eat My Dust. It looks like Squilliam's going to make it happen. And Eat My Dust not going to get a break here. Here comes Spook Dubs. Bozak has made a move against Springflower, but let's go up to battle for 2nd. Starting to heat up here. I saw briefly Nodovan was within a 1/10 of a second. Simply Steve able to hold on to it. Eat My Dust and Spook Dubs having their own battle here for 7th. So 2 distinct battles out on track right now. You've got Simply Steve fighting with everything he's got there against Nodovan in 2nd. You've also got Eat My Dust and Spook Dubs battling for 7th. Let's see, Spooked Ups has another big run here, pulls up alongside, tries to pull up alongside Eat My Dust. Can't quite get clear there. Looks like Spooked Ups has the faster straight line speed, but Spooked Ups able to defend once they get into the twisty bits here. And here we go, the battle for second. Nodovan had pulled up alongside Simply Steve. They were side by side for a moment. Steve in that 23 Ferrari just not going to give him a break here. Nodovan historically does extremely well in the Endurance Series. A savant when it comes to fuel saving. And Simply Steve able to build up quite a bit of a buffer there. I wonder if Nodovan had a bobble as he pulled the advantage back to about 8/10. And Joshua Spears, there we go, getting focused on the number 84 machine, is hoping that those two drivers within the top three continue battling, slowing the pace down a little bit. And I would not be surprised to see Spears interject himself into a podium position. So on screen, that is second, third, and fourth place. Simply Steve, Nodovan, and Joshua Spears. Urko still rounds out the top five, while Dickinson has pulled a 5.3 second margin over the rest of the field. And that also raises the question, we know Dickinson hates fuel savings races. So is the pace difference, I wonder, a large portion of the field doing some fuel saving to hit their numbers while Dickinson's holding it wide? Or does that number one machine just have that much raw pace compared to the rest of the field? Time will tell here. Spooked Up's trying to get another run here at Eat My Dust. These are the two closest drivers we have out on the circuit. Ooh, a big send up the inside from Spooked Ups. Eat My Dust tries to close the door, but leaves just enough space to make sure they both get through the corner. Loving the bazooka painted number 24 of Eat My Dust and number 23 of Simply Steve. Bit of a fresh livery for those two, looking sharp. Eat My Dust still able to hold on to it here. Get my dust spooked up, still battling. Simply Steve, just a quick update for the fans, is holding on still to second place, but Nodovan and Joshua Spears have been slowly closing that gap. And really, those are the only kind of two battles we have out on circuit right now. Let's check back in on Simply Steve. Holding on to the second place position, number 23. We just saw his teammate Eat My Dust fending off Spook Dubs. Nodovan right there behind Joshua Spears, trying to catch just a little bit of a toe off these two drivers, running second and third. Seeing if that's going to allow him to close the gap. Let's go back though. Eat My Dust has once again, the Spook Dubs taking every shot he can here against that number 24. So the excellent racing continues here. The J2ICS Endurance Series, sponsored by Designers Home Gallery. As a reminder, Designers Home Gallery is your premier destination for all things flooring, and we are super excited to continue the sponsorship of the J2ICS Endurance season, where innovation meets endurance on every stretch. Just like their curated collection, this season promises to push boundaries, combining style with resilience. Join us as we champion design excellence and fuel the endurance of racing, one lap at a time. Please go and support my friends at www.nouglyfloors.com. There's Joshua Spears, the number 84. He's within a half second of Nodovan. Nodovan is all over the back of Simply Steve here. Spook Dubs and Eat My Dust still linked up 7th and 8th. Prince Adam has made a pass for 12th against Cat Daddy. And let's pan back up. I just saw a big lunge there from Nodovan. Not quite able to make it happen. Something else has happened though. Out on track, Bozak, the 906, involved in some sort of incident. And unfortunately for Bozak, looks like it's going to be a solo mistake. Too hard on the brakes, around he goes. That gives Sector the 9th place position. Bozak quickly up to pace the challenge back against the 95. Corvette versus Corvette with Sector and Bozak. Sector got excellent drive out of the start, or onto the start and finish line stretch, preventing Bozak from making a go of it there with a draft pass. Simply Steve doing a fantastic job fighting for second. If this is how the night is going to go for that 23 machine, he is going to have a long hour and a half, as it has been non-stop defense for the bazooka-backed number 23 machine. Donovan doing everything he can to get around. I'm interested to see what Joshua Spears can do if he firmly gets up in the mix. Spears historically always runs very well if he can stay out of any sort of trouble. So far in the opening 25 minutes, he's been able to do just that. Very slowly and methodically cutting a little bit closer to a top three. And there's an interesting and uncharacteristic mistake. Donovan had a little bit of a bobble and then maybe a slowdown as he is now relegated back to fourth. Joshua Spears finds himself in a podium spot behind Simply Steve. And I also saw a battle for fifth underway. Squilliam is catching up to Urko. Let's see how Urko handles the pressure here. Squilliam, usually one of the top dogs when it comes to racing at the J2ICS Designers Home Gallery Endurance Series. Last lap by, Squilliam was about 0.3 faster than Urko. We're going to see what the times update here too. A 134.13 for Urko, a 133.87 for Squilliam. So Squilliam definitely has a little bit more speed than that 33 machine. Checking back in. Oh, it's been a bit of a slow burning three-car battle for second. Simply Steve, Joshua Spears, Donovan separated by about 1.5 seconds between those three drivers. They're about 3 seconds ahead of Urko, who has his hands full with the bright pink number 6 of Squilliam. Also had the report, Bozak has once again made a pass against Sector. Sector fires it right back though at him. About 2 seconds back, you can see Springflower, Prince Adam linked up nose to tail. They know that these two drivers going side by side for ninth are going to push a large hole through the air. If they can get close enough, they can use that draft and pull themselves up to the party. Still side by side we go, Sector and Bozak. Springflower and Prince Adam, though, rapidly closing from behind. What a great race between these two guys. Oh, there's Springflower and Prince Adam. They want a little bit of side-by-side racing as well. Got to be mindful not to slow down the pace too much battling, especially when they can see a top 10 just ahead of them here. Springflower with an off-track excursion. That's going to give 12th place to Prince Adam. They've lost a little bit of time here to Sector and Bozak, as now Prince Adam about 2 seconds back. Joshua Spears under fire from Donovan. About 4 seconds back from them. Urko still has Squilliam breathing down his neck. And there we go again. Sector and Bozak. Elbows out here. The battle for ninth. You got to wonder, is there a bonus prize or something for the driver that finishes ninth? Because these two have been going at it like it's for the race lead on the final lap for just about every lap we've had, as we are 1/3 of the way through this feature event. Now the fuel window officially open for these drivers, so we can say with a little bit of confidence, if drivers have to come down pit road from this point forward, they should be good to go till the end on fuel. Be a little bit tight going for this much of an undercut. Here comes Prince Adam joining the battle for a top 10. Adam qualified 9th, excuse me, and then started from pit road, I think realizing after qualifying that he did have a penalty that was supposed to prevent that number 777 from getting out on circuit. And speaking of pit stops, Yo Mega, our lone Ford, he's down pit road, and no, look at this. Sean Dickinson, your race leader, had over an 8-second gap, comes down pit road. So that is going to give Simply Steve, the number 23 machine, the race lead and credit for a lap led. I personally think that's indicative of most of the field fuel saving, while Sean Dickinson is doing his typical hold the throttle wide and see what happens. Squilliam has made his move against Urco. It's going to put the number 6 machine up into 4th. Dickinson rolls out of pit road. He spent 19.6 seconds in his pit stall. Yo Mega 36.7 seconds in his stall. And something has happened. I'm not quite sure what it was. It showed Dickinson involved in a crash. I can't imagine he would spin coming out of pit road. So I'm not sure why it reported a crash there for Sean Dickinson. So it might have something to do with the track. Urco is fired back against Squilliam to retake the 4th place position. Squilliam trying to work the draft pass back against the number 33. Both are in the Porsche RSRs. I've got to say, with a little bit of driving experience, a handful of a car to hold on to. We got Biker Pilot join us in the spectate area. Always good seeing Biker when he's not out on track here with us in the Sprint Series. I believe Biker was busy putting together bricks for a house of excuses, is what the other drivers were saying amongst each other. So I'm interested to see, is the rest of the field fuel saving while Dickinson's holding the throttle down, or did he go for a massive undercut here this evening? Squilliam has a big run right on the back bumper of Urco, pulls up alongside, deep into the corner. Urco hoping to pressure Urco into a mistake. It might have worked there. Urco pushes wide. There goes Squilliam taking back over 4th. And Squilliam continues the charge up front. Oh, it just panned over to Prince Adam, giving a little bit of a headlight flash. Not sure if there was something to that, or maybe just some good-natured shenanigans amongst friends. Well, good to hear that biker pilot's actually getting a vacation for a change. I'd say that's a pretty darn good excuse not to make it to one of these events. Adam has a big run against Sector, still not quite able to make something happen there. Good to see there's still great racing all across the circuit, as shown by Sector and Prince Adam. Up front, it's still simply Steve. Joshua Spears in second, Donovan in third after Dickinson took that early pit stop. You know, and to touch on what Biker was discussing in the spectator area as well, yes, sometimes it's to let drivers know, hey, I'm here. Sometimes it's there to throw it off balance, and sometimes it's just dudes being guys and having a great time doing so. There's Dickinson has worked his way around Prince Adam. And it's also worth kind of pointing out as well, usually it's only the classes with, or races I should say, with different cars out on track that even have the high beams enabled. If you're racing, 30 Spec Miatas out here, generally iRacing does not have the flashing high beams as an option for these drivers. Checking back in a little bit closer up towards the front, there's simply Steve in the lead. Joshua Spears staying in second with Donovan closing up behind. But we might have to pan back here. Looks like it's going to be a three-car battle for ninth. Sector, Dickinson, and Prince Adam. 9th, 10th, and 11th. Does Dickinson continue the aggressiveness in the number one machine? He's tucked in right behind Sector. Going the long way around here, trying to carry a little bit more corner speed. Sector guards the inside line, squeezes in front of Dickinson just a little bit. Sector wants to slow down Dickinson enough where Prince Adam starts to battle with the number one machine. And that'll take some of the heat off the 95. looks like Sector is going to get that little bit of reprieve he was looking for as well. Building up about a 0.6 of a second advantage. The Omega is going to come down pit road for the second time and get our lone Ford out on track in that 101 machine. Prince Adam has a big run there against Dickinson. Dickinson right on the back of Sector as well. These three drivers squarely in the vortex of danger. Now, I will say, I think Prince Adam's going to play it a little bit safer here. He had that qualifying penalty coming into tonight. Doesn't want to double up on rewards from the racing stewards. But sometimes that red mist gets a hold of you and you get a little bit too in deep. And that's where problems can arise for some of these drivers. Dickinson still looking for an opening against Sector in the 95. Dives in deep up the inside line. Dickinson's going to take over the 9th place position. Prince Adam trying to follow the number 1 through there, but Sector able to get back going. Adam pulls up alongside Sector. It's going to be a drag race here for the 10th place position. I think now that Dickinson has clean track ahead of him, he's going to put the hammer down and leave these two drivers in tow, and that's exactly what he's doing, quickly building up a 1.3 second advantage. Adam slips up the inside line of Sector, and he's going to take over the 10th place position in the 777. And let's go back up front, where you've got all three drivers within about 0.6 of each other, first through third. Simply Steve, Joshua, Spears, Nodovan, all in one tidy frame. Nodovan, the 128, has been very mindful and very careful on when he tries to make passes so far in this feature event. Showing a lot of racecraft, not trying to put that 128 in any precarious positions. Closing up behind Nodovan, using the draft off the back of Spears. But then backs right back out of it. So in no big hurry, no big rush, it looks like. Now Nodovan, our current points leader, about 23 points ahead of Spears. And Dickinson, the number 1, he's currently third in points. Urko sitting fourth in points. So a top 5 here for the 33 would definitely help out his championship dreams, at least keep him alive here. Spears is broken away just a little bit here from Nodovan, giving himself about a second buffer, staying within right around a half second, 0.6 behind Simply Steve. as your top three. Coincidentally, the three closest drivers out on track. We're going to leave the camera pointed here. I'm going to go get some water for the broadcast booth. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the J2ICS Designers Home Gallery Endurance Series. All right. right, hydration is acquired up here in the broadcast booth. And as you saw, Donovan made that pass against Joshua Spears, who's going to get relegated back to third. Spears continuing to hold on here. Holding on about a half-second back from Donovan. But that has given a little bit of a breakaway for Simply Steve up front, the number 23, giving him about a 1.5-second advantage over second and third place. And it's going to be Donovan and Joshua Spears, the two closest drivers out on track. Now I'm trying to see here. Looks like all 17 drivers that started this feature event still out on the circuit. Only 3, though, have had pit stops. That's going to be Dickinson sitting in 8th, Bozak in 14th, and Yo Mega sitting in 17th. The only 3 drivers to pit. Oh, there we go. Something's happening. Donovan's going to come down pit road. Now, unfortunately, from a broadcaster's perspective, doesn't actually tell us if a driver has a slowdown, so I can't quite confirm if Spears did or what the issue may have been or if there was an issue. Sometimes it's just a little bit of a bobble is all it takes. So Donovan looking to get in and out of his pit stall in less than 20 seconds would be the goal to match the time Dickinson spent in his box, and he's going to do it 18.55 seconds, rolling back out on track in the 128 machine. So Donovan back out on circuit, the 128. He is going to be about 5.7 seconds back from Sean Dickinson. I believe that's going to be lap traffic right ahead of Donovan. And there's Prince Adam a little bit further ahead, the pink and white 777. Garlic Dog, the 199, he's going to come down pit road. But the top 6 have yet to pit here. When is Simply Steve going to bring that 23 machine down pit road? Saw a puff of smoke there, not quite sure who that was from. Spears looks like he's wicked up the pace here a little bit. Starting to track back down. Simply Steve has it right over the 1 second mark between himself and the race leader. That's going to put Squilliam up into third. But again, the top 6 drivers have yet to come down pit road here. It's going to be very interesting to see what the strategy is going to be as far as the pit cycle. Garlic Dog has completed his pit stop at a slow stop of 48.2 seconds. I'm wondering if that 199 might have taken tires there. As Simply Steve flashing the headlights, maybe a lap traffic saying, hey, I'm charging up here. I cannot afford to slow down, as Joshua Spears still holding right at 1 second back from the race leader. Wonder if that might be Cat Daddy just ahead. No, it wasn't Cat Daddy. It's another driver who's going another lap down, it looks like. That was Yomega, the 101. Our lone Ford driver out on track. A little bit of a lockup there, but keeps it pointing the right direction. Not getting too thrown out of shape with the race leader sliding right on by. And Spears still trying everything he can to close that gap. He's right at 1 second back from Simply Steve. Steve came into tonight one of our fastest drivers, as shown by the practice sessions. Squilliam, Joshua Spears, and Urko all down pit road together. Simply Steve opts to stay out a little while longer here. That's going to put Spook Dubs up into second place. Eat My Dust now in third. Now let's see where Squilliam is going to be at as Dickinson climbing up the leaderboard here, now showing fourth. How far ahead is Dickinson going to be? Looks like Dickinson, let's pan back to that number one machine. He's about 6 seconds ahead of Nodovan. But as a reminder to the fans, Dickinson came down pit road mighty early. So this is going to be interesting to see how tonight plays out with all the strategy calls. So that is going to leave just a handful of drivers, 6 drivers who have yet to pit. Simply Steve, Spook Dubs, and Eat My Dust, first, second, and third. And then you've got Sector, Springflower, and Cat Daddy, 9th, 10th, and 11th, the only drivers who have yet to box. Urko's coming out of pit road after his one scheduled stop. Now, I'm very interested to see how this is going to pan out, where Dickinson, that number one, is going to be when the pit cycle is completed. Springflower comes down pit road as Broccoli Motorsports rolls back out on track. How long is Steve going to stretch the run out for? We expected the fuel window to be between the 30 and 60 minute mark. And there we go, Steve's down pit road. So now all eyes are on Sean Dickinson. Where is that number one machine going to be in relation to Simply Steve? The estimated pit lane time loss is 36 seconds. Simply Steve came into pit road with a 38-second advantage. Steve's in his pit stall. We're looking for a sub 20-second pit time to match or beat Sean Dickinson. Simply Steve, 19.10 seconds. Dickinson was 19.62. Where are they going to be at on track? Eat My Dust shows as the race leader. Dickinson might have made it happen here. Wow, Dickinson quite well ahead of the rest of the field. Showing 7.4 seconds up from Simply Steve. So if Dickinson can make it till the end on fuel, he might be putting on a clinic here today. The only driver in front of Dickinson, that's Eat My Dust, the number 24 Ferrari, 5 seconds ahead of Dickinson, but Eat My Dust has yet to pit here. There we go, Eat My Dust coming down pit road for his one scheduled stop of the day. That's going to put Sean Dickinson back as your race leader. But this also means, while Dickinson has a very comfortable 8-second margin, Eat My Dust, Prince Adams, Sector, Cat Daddy, Broccoli Motorsports completing their final stops. Donovan in second has Simply Steve and Joshua Spears in very hot pursuit. The final 2 podium spots are all but decided. And these guys are going to lick the stamp and send it if I have any sort of prediction. Donovan, the 128, has shown great pace all throughout the night here. But Simply Steve knows he has no chance of a breather, as Joshua Spears wants to get back up on that podium. And it looks like Spears was able to make the pass there. No, excuse me, able to hold on to third, I should say, as Simply Steve looking for any sort of mistake. Now, I can't tell you how many times we've seen one of these endurance events come right down to the wire. I'm also still very curious to see what is going to happen with Dickinson as far as fuel. He absolutely loathes having to do fuel savings races. Spears within a half second of Donovan, the 128. Speaking of fuel saving, Donovan, a fantastic fuel numbers driver, always able to hit those marks and do so very, very cleanly. And if you're just tuning in, you're watching the 3-car battle for second. Donovan's, Joshua Spears, and Simply Steve have the elbows out. We go a little bit further back in the field. You've also got another 3-car battle. Sector, Bozak, and Urko. Urko had something happen on his pit stop. Was in his stall for 1 minute and 2 seconds. I think that may be indicative of some sort of pit road violation or some sort of penalty there for the 33 machine, which is a real bummer. Urko was definitely a top 5 driver here tonight. But the Endurance Series continues to give him bits of problems here and there. Last week, or I should say last race 2 weeks ago, we saw Urko qualify well, then go out onto the circuit with qualifying trim, and around goes Sector. He was feeling the pressure from Bozak and Urko. And Sector's going to fall back to 11th here. Still the battle for second underway. Nodovan has Joshua Spears and Simply Steve right behind him. Dickinson a very comfortable 10-second margin out front. Less than 30 minutes left to go in today's feature endurance race, the J2ICS Designers Home Gallery main event, feature event, I should say. And here we go. Spears takes a shot at Nodovan, looks up to the inside line. Nodovan able to match pace there. The blue and gold at number 128. Spears put up alongside Nodovan, has fallen back to fourth. Nodovan must have had a slowdown or some sort of issue. And now it's going to be Simply Steve and Joshua Spears battling for second side by side. Nodovan pushes wide once more. The problems compound for the 128. And just like that, Simply Steve has made it a 2-for-1, propelling the number 23 machine up into second. This is the racing we've come to expect from these competitors. So now your top three is going to be Dickinson, Simply Steve, Joshua Spears. And Nodovan sits in fourth. Now I'm still interested to see, is Dickinson going to be good to go on fuel to make it till the end? If so, he's going to check out here. And I don't think there's going to be any competition, but I think it's a big if. Personally, I'm very much worried that Dickinson's going to find himself short on fuel to make it till the end. Because he has just been romping on the accelerator all night long here. Curious what the fans think as well. Do you think Dickinson's good to go on fuel? Because, man, this battle for second is pretty darn good. Less than 20 or just over 20 minutes left to go in today's feature event. On camera, Simply Steve, Joshua Spears, Nodovan. Elbows out and no brakes to be found here. Simply Steve doing a great job holding on to second. Joshua Spears very busy fending off Nodovan. Wants to keep that 128 machine out of a podium spot here. Fairly late in the season, and every point matters for these drivers. Donovan has rapidly closed the gap up there to Simply Steve. Had another incident reported as well. Bozak gonna go off track, having some sort of incident. He's gonna lose the 9th place position to Urko. Looks like it's gonna be another solo incident. Just pitches it around and watches Urko go off into the distance. Simply Steve has pulled a little bit of a breakaway from Spears and Donovan. Also have Spook Dubs and Eat My Dust having their own battle for 6. So right now the fans universally agreeing that Dickinson, your race leader who had the undercut, came in a lap, the 30-minute mark I should say, is good to go till the end. Now this is interesting. Prince Adam coming down pit road for a second pit stop. May have earned himself a drive-through penalty, perhaps. Spooked Up's trying to get something. It's trying to defend against Eat My Dust. Eat My Dust saw a little bit of a mistake there from the 58, stuck his nose in, wasn't quite able to complete the pass. Gonna have another shot at it here. Eat My Dust has a run. Looks for an opening against Spook Dubs, not quite able to find it. There we go. Eat My Dust takes over the 6th place spot. He's going to be once again our hard charge number 24 as he is up 4 positions from where he started. Also looks like Joshua Spears starting to close up just a little bit to Simply Steve. What a great shot of those 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place drivers. All within one tidy frame of each other. Sean Dickinson still your race leader out front, a very large margin, almost 13 seconds up over the rest of the field here. On camera, though, by far and away the most exciting battle that we have. Currently, your top 3 is Dickinson, Simply Steve, Joshua Spears. Donovan and Squilliam round out the top 5. With about 15 minutes left to go, Squilliam sitting about 2 seconds back. So not sure if he's going to have enough time to catch up to this party for a second. Now, if he does, that's a big if. It would very quickly be a 4-car battle trying to sort out who's going to get the 2nd place position here. Looks like these drivers have put a little bit of a gap there on Squilliam. As the headlights are flashing, Simply Steve letting lap traffic know, hey, we've got a freight train right behind me. I cannot afford to slow down here at all. And things are going to stack up a little bit with traffic. This could make that battle for second very, very interesting. And this could be the opportunity that Squilliam was looking for. Maybe a chance to close that gap up a little bit. And look at that. Simply Steve, Joshua Spears, and Nodovan were linked up nose to tail. I'm hoping this battle can continue. If so, we're going to see some fireworks once we get a little bit closer here to the end of today's feature event. As Simply Steve, Joshua Spears, Nodovan. It always impresses me, almost a full hour and a half in, how close the racing can be here. Steve has been very consistent so far tonight, but the same could be said for Spears or Nodovan. Dickinson out front's got to be comfortable and very happy knowing that everybody else is battling for second at best here tonight. Dickinson, that race lead, almost 14 seconds up over the rest of the field. And little to no sign of slowing down, it looks like. Now Spears, is he going to be content with second, or excuse me, third? No, he's going to run it in deep against Steve. Taking over the second place spot, that number 84 machine. Steve now showing in second, fires right back against Spears, trying the inside line. Elbows out against the 84 of Spears. And there's Nodovan just waiting for the opportunity as they're side by side for second, right ahead of them. Oh, and we're going to go with 3 wide here. It was brief, but it was spectacular. Spears comes out in second. Nodovan with a mistake. He's going to slide and spin. Another mistake there from Spears. Gets a little bit loose. That puts Squilliam up into fourth. Oh my goodness, what a race we have underway. So now it's Simply Steve and Joshua Spears battling for second. Squilliam, coming out of nowhere, might be suddenly in podium contention. Squilliam, who looked like he wasn't going to have a prayer of a podium, now suddenly seeing 2 drivers right in front of him, knowing that's it, just got to get one to get up onto the box here. Simply Steve, 4/10 up over Spears. Spears about a half second up over Squilliam. Steve gets a little bit of a breakaway. Spears still holding on to third, but Squilliam, I think, is going to be aggressive in these closing 10 minutes. And while this battle's been going on, Dickinson has pulled now almost an 18-second gap over the rest of the field as we are waiting with bated breath to see how this battle just inside the podium is going to go for these drivers. Simply Steve's in second, Spears in third, and Squilliam doing everything he can to move up out of that fourth place position. Looks like Spring Flowers back down pit road, the second pit stop for him. And a couple other battles starting to heat up. Spook Dubs and Eat My Dust, nose to tail for 6. You've got Sector and Prince Adam also doing the same for 9th. Prince Adam has a big run here, tries to pull up alongside Sector. Sector, what a move there from Prince Adam. Very aggressive, but very clean, moving his way back up into 9th. Less than 7 minutes left to go in today's main event. Spears has a lot of pressure. Squilliam's right behind. See if we can grab an onboard here, I wonder. There we go, onboard the number 6 machine of Squilliam all over the back bumper of Spears. And as the tube server says, yes, spot on. Elbows are out here tonight. Drivers knowing there's not a whole lot of time to make these passes stick. Now does Squilliam think maybe he thinks he has the pace? No, Squilliam's gonna throw it away. I thought maybe Squilliam had a little bit left in the tank there, but he's going to drop about 3.5 seconds after that moment. Simply Steve and Joshua Spears staying hammered down. They want to get away from Squilliam. And this is the type of racing. Oh, look at this. Squilliam's going to come down pit road. Let's see. Does he hit his stall? It's going to be a drive-through for the number 6 machine. Oh, gutting for Squilliam, so he's going to fall back to the 5th place spot. Dickinson still out front, 16 seconds up over the rest of the field. Simply Steve in 2nd. Joshua Spears in 3rd. With really nobody that close to him here. So the attrition rate starting to increase. Two closest drivers we have out on track, Simply Steve and Joshua Spears. Separated by only 0.3 of a second here tonight. Is Spears gonna play it safe? Or is he gonna keep the pressure up here, try and force a mistake out of Simply Steve, and see if he can put that number 84 machine up into 2nd? He's going for it. A big lunge at the inside line from Spears. Not quite able to get enough of a nose in. He's got just a little while longer to make another go at it. And now I think Dickinson's going to take the white flag next time by. So we're all watching to see, can Spears challenge Steve in the battle for 2nd? Now it's very interesting, Dickinson and Steve 1st and 2nd running exactly as they qualified. Spears is up 1 spot, Hard Charger out on circuit. Gonna be Eat My Dust in 7th. He's up 3 spots so far in this event. Now, this is going to be interesting. This might not be the white flag lap. We'll see if we can see a flag displayed when Steve and Spears cross the line here. I'm not seeing any white flags being thrown from what I can tell. Oh, here we go. Spears, a huge lunge up the inside line against Simply Steve. Steve's going to fire back, but it looks like Spears carries just a little bit more momentum there. So Spears must have heard the calls from the fans saying, lick the stamp and send it. As Spears has moved that 84 Porsche RSR just ahead of Steve and the number 23 Ferrari. We have got a race underway here, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to pan over to Sean Dickinson, your race leader, almost 20 seconds up over the rest of the field. I believe the white flag should now be out. Fairly confident he got the white flag there. Yes, we got confirmation. White flag is out. Can Spears hold on to it? Gotta love the great racing here, the J2ICS Designers Home Gallery Endurance Series. Spears with the hammer down, has just over a half lap left to go. Has to hit his marks perfectly if he wants to keep Simply Steve behind. Dickinson makes his way around the final couple of corners here. Put your hands together, and it's going to be a dominant performance from the number 1 of Sean Dickinson, picking up the win here tonight. And let's pan a little bit further back. Can Spears pick up the second place position? Just a few short corners left to go. And what a great race. It's going to be Sean Dickinson, your race winner. Joshua Spears in second. And Simply Steve will round out the top 3. So we're going to try and get these drivers up here to victory lane and get the celebratory shenanigans started. We've got Dickinson, so we're waiting on Spears and Steve, it seems like. So now we're just waiting on Simply Steve, and we can get the podium shenanigans started. Where art thou, Steve? All right, looks like we've got everybody here. So we're going to start things off with Mr. Simply Steve. Join us, number 23. Steve, the Ferrari looking sharp, able to come out a great race and a clean race despite all the back and forth you and Spears were having in that one.
Yeah, I mean, a very exciting race. Like, I think from lap 1 to the end, I was wondering what to do. Like, what do I do other than try to my best to drive fast? So, really exciting race overall.
Now, Steve, do you wish it was a little bit calmer? Because as you said, you're right, the entire hour and a half, really no chance of a break, no chance to just kind of cruise for a little bit. It seemed like you guys had to be elbows out the entire time to maintain that track position.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's honestly what let Josh be able to have enough tire towards the end. I felt like I didn't have almost any tire, and so and I was P2 for a good chunk of the race. So I ended up, I think, having to spend a little bit more tire and then not having as much at the end. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, an exciting race is an exciting race. I'll take it any day of the week versus a snooze. So yeah.
Well, it looked like a ton of fun out there for you and the other drivers. And Steve, before I let you go and unwind from a grueling hour and a half feature event, who you want to give a shout to that helps put you up here in the third place position?
Shout out to my teammate, Imai Dust, Lucas. Shout out to my girlfriend, any of my friends watching, Erko. And yeah, and Josh for having a great race, and Donovan as well. We were all real tight there, and it's always nice to have people with real tight racing, and you as well, James. Appreciate you.
Well, no worries, Steve. Couldn't do it without you guys, and hopefully we'll have you up here in the coming weeks.
Yeah, hope so. Hope to be back.
Awesome. Thank you, bud.
Thank you.
That was Simply Steve bringing it home. And third, up next, we've got Joshua Spears, the number 84 machine, able to slide up there in second towards the end. But Josh, how long were you planning that pass attempt for?
Ages. I had gotten it done once, I think, when I was racing against who was it, Donovan, and I was just happy that I noticed that Steve didn't have the brakes in, what was that, turn 3, so I was like, all right, here I go again.
Well, it seemed like it worked out well for you, and we were talking to Steve about that. Really, no chance of any breaks here tonight. You guys were pretty much wide open for an hour and a half. Always had somebody right there with you, and either you were attacking or being attacked. How grueling is that when you guys are running so close, so tight for the duration of an endurance round?
Oh man, it was intense because I mean there was no break. It was just focus, focus, focus. Me and Sean were on Discord together, but I mean it was like more or less just dead silence because I couldn't handle talking and focusing on the track at that time.
Well, that's a funny duality between you two. Dickinson had the clean track, and you had no chance of any sort of break. I know the fans were going nuts with that big move you made for second, so got to be pumped, all things considered. Josh, before I let you go and unwind, who do you want to give a shout to that helps pushing that number 84 machine up here into second place?
Man, I'd like to thank my teammate Sean. That's really who it is, and just myself for actually pushing myself now and trying to get better on these things.
Well, Josh, super cool to have you up here in second. Congratulations, a very well-earned second tonight.
Thank you.
That was Joshua Spears bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the fuel-saving legend. I made that part up. Sean, welcome back to the top spot, my friend. A dominant performance, a 20-second gap, and, man, just ripping it all the way around for an hour and a half here.
Yeah, car felt great. Finally on my type of track again with some high downforce and no fuel saving.
Yeah, I know. We actually get to see that number one machine shine a little bit. And Sean, I'm not going to lie, and the fans will confirm this. I was a little worried with how big of a gap you built up early on the event. I was wondering to myself, is Sean just that much faster, or is everyone else fuel saving? This is going to be one of, quote, those races, but you quickly answered it. I mean, it looked like you were well and good on fuel and able just to hammer the throttle for an hour and a half straight.
Yeah, that definitely. Like I felt pretty good, and then my buddy was bugging me in my stream to mix it up, so that's why I was like the first one to go pit, and then yeah, it just worked out. There was no I was the fastest at the very end of the run. I got to start get back into the 32s.
Well, it seemed like it worked out super well for you. That was really fun for me to watch there. And what were you thinking, the expectations of the track? I mean, I'm sure you turned a lot of laps coming into this event, but were you thinking it was going to go as well for you as it did?
I was hoping so. Track was a little hot, but my main concern was the sun. The sun was coming in at weird angles and throwing off my braking zones. I was kind of worried I'd like get more off tracks or miss something, spin out, something like that. But I guess I lucked out and it didn't happen.
Well, a dominant performance, and I think I know the answer to this, but next round on the endurance schedule is good old Mid-Ohio, and you just mentioned you like high downforce tracks, so that's got to be a favorite of yours coming up.
That was actually my pick for winning last season, so I'm definitely excited for that one.
Well, hopefully there's no cold or no rain on the forecast because that's a treacherous track without it. But man, super cool to have you back up here in the top spot, able to show the full prowess of that number one machine, a dominant performance. And Sean, before I let you go and unwind, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen for you?
Yeah, man, I got to give a shout out to Josh doing all the long-term testing, helping build the setups, SimCity Racing, all the support there. And then a special shout out for our teammate, Martin Crisp. He's currently going through some health issues right now. So we all have little logos on our cars, never lift, hoping he makes it through and speedy recovery to get back in the rig and race with us.
Awesome. Well, Sean, very cool. We have your friend and our best of thoughts up here in the booth as well for the fans out there. And congratulations again on a dominant performance here tonight.
Thank you, and thanks for broadcasting it.
Yes, sir. That was Sean Dickinson bringing it home in the number one spot. He was accompanied by Mr. Joshua Spears in second and Simply Steve rounding out the top three. On behalf of the J2ICS Designers Home Gallery Endurance Series, my name has been James East. Thank you all so much for spending your Wednesday night with us, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.